Hey, so don't forget that just because it's unfamiliar and uncertain doesn't mean that it's going to automatically lead to failure, destitution, and destruction. So many of us get caught up in needing to know the answers, needing the control, needing things to be clear and laid out and outlined in advance. And that's not always how it's going to go. But we have to learn how to trust the universe and God and trust ourselves enough to know that we will be fine no matter what happens. Oh, it's a ladybug. Hi. Oh, I didn't mean to smack you off my leg. You freaked me out. So sorry. Oh, okay. So many of us get caught up in needing to know all the answers. I know I do. And you just can't have them. You just can't have them all the time. Sometimes you got to go with the flow and do it anyway and take one step at a time and then trust that the path is going to light itself up as you take more steps and so on and so forth. Because that's really what happens. You're not going to know all the answers. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to see every single step perfectly outlined, crystal clear ahead of you, but you do have to move forward. You have to make space and you have to move forward. And you have to lighten the load. Whatever can't go with you, drop it. Whoever can't go with you, let them go. Not everybody is meant to come with you the entire time of the journey and your life and your progression and your evolution and alignment and ascending. And that's okay. It's kind of part of the process. Everyone has their own paths and own lessons to learn. That's something that I've struggled with over time is letting people go when I really don't want to. Even if I do stop talking to them or hanging around them, like I have this lingering, this longing to contact them, but I know I can't and I shouldn't because God told me not to. You have to make space for the new thing and accept that you're not going to have everything laid out for you in advance, but you do have the responsibility to move forward, to have faith, to take the necessary steps, to do a little bit at a time versus nothing at all. Sometimes you get paralysis analysis because you're trying to figure out every single step in advance. There's so many options. There's so many ways to go about your personal transformation, the thing that you want to do, the objective that you have, the goal that you're calling in, the path that you want to go on. There's so many things that you think are required to make it happen. And then you get caught up in trying to figure out the entire strategy over time. And it's way too much. The human brain cannot compute all of that at once. One thing at a damn time. One thing at a time. Take the necessary steps, move forward accordingly, do what you can, and then keep going and trust that it's going to work out. So many of us are getting caught up in repeating cycles, self destructive habits, self destructive coping mechanisms, self sabotage. Because you have this old identity that is attached to the way you used to be, the things you used to do, right? You cannot bring that old set of habits, behaviors, and mindsets. You cannot bring that old thinking, that old timeline into the new timeline. You can't bring it with you. That old, outdated version of you, the behaviors that they had, the mediocrity, the lack of consistency, the lack of execution, the lack of, trying to plan ahead and have some type of structure. The old person you used to be who would sleep in, who would snooze, who would, ignore their personal responsibilities, the one who would make the to do list and not get the things done on the to do list. All of those habits are tied to the versions of yourself that have not executed the new thing. So, in order to execute the new thing, you have to become a new version of yourself. It really is, personal transformation really is about identity work. Shifting your identity, listing out and being fully aware of everything that is tied to who you think you are, realizing that you're capable of more, and then achieving more, and then having the goals attached to that, and then having the behaviors that you would naturally take if you were in that new reality, if you were in that new timeline, if you were that new version of yourself that you're trying to call in and you're trying to be and you're trying to manifest, you would naturally do XYZ. You would naturally go to bed at a decent time so you can get up early. You would naturally get out of bed, do your morning workout, exercise routine, stretch, whatever your habits and your routines are in the morning, right? You would naturally be meditating and journaling. You would naturally put yourself on a schedule. The new version of you requires that from you. The new version of you requires more structure. The new version of you requires that you just automatically start doing the habits. Even if you don't have all the resources you think you need, you can start with the behavior and the mindset that you have control over. You can control your behavior and your mindset and your perspective and the way you think about things. So many of us are getting caught up on, how do I accomplish these goals? How do I call in this new version of myself? How do I achieve what I want to achieve? How do I manifest these things? Well, you can start by radically examining the set of behaviors and the set of perspectives, the outlook you used to have on life. Examine all of that. Make a list, do a little exercise, and see what literally cannot fit into the new version of yourself. So when we talk about manifestation, transformation, identity work, shadow work, you think about thought leaders like Neville Goddard, and Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and the motivational speakers and all of those people. The conversation a lot of the times has stemmed from thinking from the end state, thinking from the end goal. Thinking from the end state, thinking from the end goal. What would that person do? What would that new version of you do? Even though you don't have all the things that you want, even though you don't maybe have the money that you want to go to the type of gym that you want and take the personal training lessons and sessions that you want, and maybe you don't have like the living arrangement that you see yourself in the future. And maybe you don't have those things, but the point is you do have the ability to start thinking from that new timeline, pulling in that mindset and that perspective, pulling in the habits and the behaviors that would essentially build the foundation of the new identity that you're trying to call in. You have to think about it from a system and a structure perspective. You have to think about it from a perspective of like, okay, we're going to build this house, we're going to build this building. I'm the architect of this building, and now I have to lay the foundation first and foremost. I can look at the blueprint, I can look at the timeline, I can look at you know, the trajectory, the financial cost of it. I can look at, projecting the date, the outline, I can look at all these things. I can look at who I would have to outsource with, who I would have to pull from, what other resources are required for this building, right? What team would I need? Things like that. You can't get there until you build the foundation. And the foundation of that is your mindset and your behavior and your habits. You have to think of it that way. How are you building the foundation for who you want to become? How are you building the mindset for who you want to become? How are you building the set of habits that are going to set the tone for the type of person you're trying to be? That's how it works. That's what you have to do. Okay? I hope this helps somebody. I hope this helps somebody, instead of beating yourself up about things not working out the way you want to, or instead of worrying about the timeline and they're not moving fast enough or quick enough and it's not looking the way you want them to look. Think about it from this way: the things that you have in your control, your internal locus of control, your mindset, and your behavior. Even if it feels like nothing around you is changing, you have to start internally and practice it. You have to practice internally as much as you can and then go from there. So then, when you have that set of thinking and that approach to it, you're not as concerned about the uncertainty, and you're not as concerned about how long it's going to take for you to achieve what you want to achieve, for you to get to where you want to go, because you're already habit stacking. You're already building the structure and the foundation of the thing that you want to bring into fruition. So it's only a matter of time. So the faster and the more intensely that you focus on your mindset and your habits and behaviors and your outlook and perspective, then you'll naturally start to get downloads and clues and hints from the universe that will tell you where to go next. It won't be as intimidating of a process, and you won't be as concerned about the uncertainty and what's on the other side of it, because you're naturally doing the things in that progression anyways, because you built that foundation. Think about that. Think about that. That's all I had on my heart to say. That's all that's what spirit wanted me to talk about. And I hope that helps somebody. So, thanks for watching.